Hello,
Hi,
Dr. Hillary. How are you?
I'm great. Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Hillary Fredrickson from Cultivate Fertility. There's Kara Burkhart, Dr. Kara Burkhart. We're the co-founders of Cultivate Fertility, and we are here to talk to you about holiday stress and eating and managing your diet during holiday stress. Do you have a printout of our holiday recipes?
I don't have a printout of it, but a lot of people have got the recipes, which was really exciting to me because this holiday season is so bizarre. You're kind of doing the holiday with less people, probably. Certainly, that's what's happening in my household. We usually do this with 40 people, and there are going to be four of us. So I thought it would be kind of neat to do different recipes and kind of try a few different things, and maybe we can carry them on into next year when we're with our whole big
That's
families.
such a good idea.
Yeah, and one of the other things we're doing for Thanksgiving is just decorating like crazy. Like I ordered branches from the florist and all that kind of stuff so that there are four of us. And that is really sad because my kids are going to be like, where are my cousins? So I think that's sort of like the approach is it's all about like the food and the decorations and make it a totally different thing and not try and recreate the same thing. Um, I don't want it to be that it's the same holiday, but a bunch of people are missing. I want it to be kind of a new thing. So those recipes that are went out in an email are really kind of cool superfoods, fertility superfoods that also work for the holiday season. And so, Dr.
Wait, so
Hillary,
just to explain, so because
yeah,
this is people are watching this on our Facebook page or our Instagram page. So if you don't get our emails, um, you should sign up for them because we send out great emails, and we just sent out a mailer that has five, five or six of our recipes for Thanksgiving for the holiday. Think really Thanksgiving kind of fall like recipes using our fertility superfoods that are all tried and true and delicious.
great.
And
So I can just send out the email again tomorrow. So if you go on the website and want to add your email to our email list, you can definitely get those recipes pretty
great,
easy.
yeah. So go to cultivatefertility.com. Like at the bottom, it says like a place like sign up, or a pop up comes up, and you can sign up and get onto to our mailing list. And then for the other people who are on our mailing list but didn't see it, a lot of our stuff goes to promotions just because we send out email, and a lot of our email has like really beautiful pictures and stuff. And so somehow they get flagged and don't go to your inbox. So just check out your promotions folder from Cultivate Fertility, and you might see this really fun holiday download that we got for you guys.
And so the
Um,
holidays is super stressful. So I've been talking to my patients about this. People's families, they love them. They're so fantastic, but it brings up issues too. So, if somebody's child's coming home from college and those kind of things are happening and the world's stressful at this point. And in the Cultivate Fertility diet, we have found this incredible connection to blood sugar regulation issues and egg quality. So, we do think that a lot of the egg quality issues could be just that people's blood sugar's up too high all the time because we eat sugary carbs and we're constantly doing that. And so part of the push with sort of stress eating is to get rid of that bad habit of, oh, I'm having a bad day, or, it's the afternoon, I'm having a crash of energy, or I got home and all my sort of pent up stress of the day is going into just like eating and snacking and sitting in front of the TV eating. So this is actually a really important topic if you're trying to get pregnant because you want to get this under control because it could put you at risk for gestational diabetes if your blood sugar is not really good and regulated.
and what we know to be true is that sugar is toxic for eggs,
It is so
right?
bad for eggs. And I
Um,
didn't know this when I was trying to get pregnant. So this
and
is
I
important
didn't know it,
information to get
and
out
I
there.
didn't know it when I was trying to get pregnant. And I think
Hey.
maybe what we both had in our fertility journeys on our side was it sounds obnoxious, but we both did have kids on the earlier side. So youth, but like it adds up over time when you're up against a lot of different forces. So sugar is a big deal. So we've been leading this prepare for pregnancy protocol we're just finishing up our group that we started almost a month ago, 3 weeks ago. And one of the big missions that we have them on is really kind of reducing their sugar and trying to balance their blood sugar and maintain a regulated blood sugar throughout the day. And I think a lot of them were surprised that even though they thought that they were eating healthy, that there was work to be done. Every time I lead a group through, people are always like, well, I eat really healthy. And then when we kind of really look at it, like, oh, it's a lot of
Mhm.
sugar, myself included. Myself
Oh,
included, because I just did the prepare for pregnancy protocol because I'm trying to balance my hormones because I'm old, and and not that I'm trying to get pregnant because I'm old, and I really couldn't believe how much sugar Dr. Hillary Fredrickson, who studies diet and lifestyle for a living and helps people, was actually eating. And when I went to take it out, how much I was craving.
oh.
And the reason why I was at that level is because I was really stressed. I think that, like,
Well, we've been on a big production push, so it's been a number of months of just create, create, create. The content's been a big push for us. So
yeah,
we've been working. It's wonderful work and we love it, but it's not like we're having spa days.
no, I
No.
could, and I think that this underlying COVID stress has just been really
Mhm.
hard on humans. And so what I'm seeing in clinic, what I'm finding in in the groups, are that people have been stress eating. And so we just kind of want for you to breathe some mindfulness into your holidays. And what I know for sure is that the more stressed we are, that sugar, alcohol, and caffeine make it worse.
Mhm.
What
Definitely.
feels like an immediate
Mhm.
improvement, or like, ah, it makes it worse. And a really great quote from somebody going through the program wrote me, it's amazing. Sometimes it's not what we get in our life, but like what we give up, because she was reflecting on the lessons of managing her sugar consumption and alcohol, because that's part of our protocol, is just looking at that and kind of minimizing that. And so it was like, in the letting go of this, um, I have learned so much on my journey. So it's it's kind of everything. So we don't want to preach. We just want to offer strategies for you to have really great food. So in that download, you can see our superfoods list, right? It's on
It's
there. And
there.
so foods
Mhm.
that it would be great for your fertility, great for egg health, great antioxidants, really helpful. And we want to let other people have asked, right? Like, well, what should I eat during the holidays? Or what, some people just, it helps to have a diet plan. So we refer them to our diet plan. You want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, so the basics of a good fertility diet is like we're talking about, this whole blood sugar regulation thing is really important. And it's not just for fertility, honestly, it's to prevent early onset dementia and Alzheimer's and all kinds of brain problems and joint pain and arthritis, all these other conditions we don't want to get. Also, if we have better blood sugar regulation, we think we won't get those too. So it's just a good, healthy diet in that sense. But the fertility superfoods are really key. One issue that we come up against a lot is that we think because we have a plethora of food and we have amazing food choices that we don't have nutrient deficiencies, and people do. And it's kind of interesting to look at. They will test women going into clinics in certain cities here and there, and we look at that data, and it's amazing, suboptimal levels of key nutrients for getting pregnant and baby health during pregnancy and your health during pregnancy. So things like choline and iodine and zinc and magnesium, sometimes they're too low in people's diets. Calcium's a really big one in pregnancy. And you really need to think about the foods you're eating. And a lot of these nutrients you can get from your foods. So we chose these superfoods for these reasons. And so there's more than just eating a really good basic diet and good fats and good antioxidants. It's really specific if you're trying to get pregnant, what you should be eating. And we know so much about it now. When we were trying to get pregnant, we didn't have any of this information. It just wasn't, there was no research. We just didn't know anything about it. And this whole idea that your diet can impact your reproductive organs and your egg quality is a whole new thing in the world. But it really can. So that's
I
what's
could, I would sing a
what's
whole
that?
new world.
It is.
If I could sing a whole new world,
Mhm.
you know, the Disney song, that's what I would be doing right now. Cause you kind of
Oh,
teed it up.
we would like that. That would be that would be actually pretty good. That'd
just
be
for
fun.
just for your Wednesday entertainment. Um, so let's talk about some ideas. I want to talk about some strategies for when you feel like you're really stressed and you're stressing eating, binge eating, stress eating. What are some strategies?
Yeah, like
So
what do you tell
a lot
patients?
of
I
people,
do this all the time. What do you tell people? What should they snack
yeah.
on?
So when I'm leading groups and we're trying to like get off sugar,
Mhm.
and not every group we do that, but on a lot of them, I always say that you need to eat more salt and you need to eat more fat. And the salt should come from really healthy things like olives, a Cultivate fertility superfood. If you have like that 3 p.m. energy crash sugar craving, if
Mhm.
you replace it with something either really crunchy, celery, cucumber's not so crunchy, but the celery always does the job. Really watery, full of fiber, crunch, and either a little bit of goat cheese or avocado or something like that, or celery and olives, or um, a handful of almonds and olives, something that's like salty, crunchy, and has good fat in it. That will make that sugar craving really go away.
So I think it's about not getting hungry. Like if you have already your chopped up vegetables ready to go, and you have it, in the refrigerator near where you're working or whatever, and it's there, and that's the first thing you're going to go eat, like you have a plan. It's totally different from if you get home and you're starving and you grab the bag of chips or you grab something like a bag of cookies or something. That's totally different. So I think planning is a big piece of this.
Planning is a really big piece of it. Yeah,
Mhm.
in the group, the Prepare for Pregnancy group, we were talking about some strategies and just like always having something. And most women who are running around and active and working and they've exercised, they need to be eating some food every 2.5 to 3 hours. And it obviously this varies by body type. Like when Kara and I work together all day, which it's been a really long time since we've gotten to do
We
that in
used to do
person.
that. That was fun.
But we have very different metabolic needs. Kara burns a lot faster than me, so she needs to really eat every 2 hours. You can start to see her eyes go like, and she can't process the
Oh my God,
information
I'm
as
like a newborn baby. I don't eat every 2 hours. Come on. I eat
every
every two
two and a
hours,
half to 3 hours, 3 hours maybe.
3 hours. Okay.
And but when you need to eat, I'm not hungry yet. I always eat with you. But so I don't need to quite eat as frequently. But if I push too far, like if I go 4 hours or something without a bite of food, or 5 hours, like you just lose mental focus. And then I get home, and if I don't prepare on a work day and I'm running around seeing patients, and then I get home, I'm like, watch out world, because I literally turn into a vacuum cleaner. And I'm like, oh, one of
Mhm.
these, one of those, one of these, one of those. And it's like none of the good stuff I crave. I want like, whatever the kids have around, or just like the easy things, cheese, crackers, right? Like it's not like I'm going for celery at that point.
Right, because you're too hungry. You got too
You're
hungry.
just too hungry. And so you're just kind of like grabbing a cookie. If there was a cookie in sight and I was really hungry, that's kind of what I would go for. But what my body really responds well to is if I eat 3 hours before and I'm eating some olives and some vegetables. I don't even make a full salad if but just like cut up red pepper, yellow pepper, orange pepper, amazing vitamin C, tons of celery, water, fiber, carrots if I do it, some vitamin A, and it's like that in olives or that in avocado, something like that, and it's like good to go.
Mhm. And, that's interesting that you said about when we're working, how you're not even hungry and I'm hungry, so I start eating and then you start eating with me. That's a typical thing with like the stress eating too. And it's like social. Like if someone's eating around you, you're like, oh, I think I'm gonna eat some of that too. But you might not even be hungry. That's an interesting thing that happens with people. If you just start eating in front of people, they start kind of like being like, oh, I think I'm hungry too. And then Chinese medicine talks about that too, in that because when we're doing our big like filming days or something, we're using our brains a lot. We're focusing, we're using our brains. And so that's true. I probably do need to eat every 2 or 3 hours or have a smoothie or something, because in Chinese medicine, you're using up your energy blood, like your focus and energy there. It's almost like having like iron deficiency anemia or something at that point where you can't focus or something. And so they're constantly talking about that. You just don't have the energy for the focus. And I think that's what I see, when we're doing those long days.
And the brain eats glucose.
Yeah.
So when the brain gets hungry, the brain wants sugar. So the message is like, hey, I'm hypoglycemic right now. You haven't fed me. Give me sugar. So you're right. One of the best ways to avoid sugar cravings is by eating regular meals or smaller meals and having that there be fat and protein. A lot of people ask me, how can I avoid, like, I have such a strong sweet tooth after dinner. What can I do? So there's a couple tricks. One is you can kind of immediately brush your teeth, and that sort of cleans the palate and moves you along. That's one. If you're really trying to give it up and the urges are really strong, sometimes just brushing your teeth and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm done with eating. That's the signal.
Mm.
Tea, drinking a mint tea or something like that sometimes works. Sometimes that's not strong enough for me. But another thing that I love giving patients is to do the sushi ginger. Um, have you seen that? Like the sushi
Love
people
I eat
ginger?
that all the time. I love it.
And like that is such a great thing to eat when you're like craving something sweet. It's not sweet, it doesn't have sugar in it, but like the ginger is really like spicy and it's something and it totally like clears your palate and kind of moves you on to the next thing. So,
And you can't eat too much of that. That's true.
you just, it's like,
You could have like 2 bites and then you're like, oh, okay.
oh, that was good. Yeah. Okay.
That is
Moving on.
delicious. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. Mhm.
Um, and always fruit always often works well too. If people are really craving cookies or chocolate or something, it's like, well, cut up a persimmon and or a Asian pear or something kind of unique and have that for dessert.
You're always good at having fruit out. So that's the thing too, like you chop up a vegetable and put it out, or you chop up a piece of fruit and you put it out, and that's kind of what you're snacking, eating after dinner. That's actually a good strategy, I think, and you do that. And one of the last things that I think is good to note, and I'm going to tell you that I don't know actually what the total fact on this is, but at one point I learned that it takes 20 minutes from when you start eating for your brain to get the signal that you're actually eating and you're taking care of that hunger. And so I learned that so long ago and I've never checked the fact on this, but I think it's real. And so if you start eating and then you wait 20 minutes before you like add another bowl or go to the next thing, you might get that feeling of, oh, I'm full. But if you're eating so fast, then that's that kind of vacuum thing. You can't stop. So there is something about slowing down eating, and that whole mindfulness eating approach is important. That does change
For
things for people.
sure. And
Yeah.
lighting a candle, taking time, like
Mhm.
not eating when you're rushed. When you're eating, when you're running and you're eating, or you're stressed and you're eating, or you're on the phone and you're eating, if you're just kind of like shoving, your body doesn't have time to start digesting. It doesn't have time to start the digestive juices process. Like it kind of needs a little bit. It's like the Pavlovian thing where the dog comes over, you hear the dog bowl, they already start digesting. Your
Mhm.
body wants to know what's happening. And so if you have a ritual of lighting a candle, sitting down, some people like have a gratitude ritual for being grateful for the food or something, the body then knows that it's like switching gears, and it's no longer running from the bear, it's resting and digesting, making nutrients and minerals more absorbable because you're actually digesting your food, or making you less bloated or less gassy or less. A lot of people have bowel issues like IBS and irritable bowel syndrome. And a lot of that sometimes is just we can get major improvements in our patients if we're just like, slow down,
Mhm.
remind your body you're eating,
Mhm.
and you'll be amazed at kind of like the difference. Because you can see stress eaters. I grew up with, my mom was a stress eater, so she would just be like snacking and stuff. And so then when it was time for the meal, she wasn't hungry. Like she knew she had already eaten enough. She wasn't hungry. And like it was always such a strange thing because we were like, Mom, you're not like eating with us. And she's like, God, she like kind of like starved herself during the day trying to do that for weight loss. And then when she was preparing food because she hadn't eaten right, she just was like stress eating. Sorry, Mom, if I don't mean to be selling you out, but like, and it was just an unconscious pattern.
Mhm.
And it's just about bringing consciousness to the food and consciousness to the process, so that when what you're eating, especially on a fertility journey or if you're pregnant, like just consciousness around what you're putting in, because you're getting ready to feed a baby. And so it matters.
Food matters in general. It's always worth working on your nutrition and your diet because beyond fertility, it's important for every aspect of your health. So it's always good work and it's always worth the effort and you're doing yourself some good by paying attention to what you're putting in your body and what's the quality of it. And when you go to bed at night, you can think about, did I eat enough vegetables today? Tomorrow I'm going to eat more, or whatever it is, just sort of paying attention. It's a really important aspect of our lives that I think just kind of goes on autopilot and we get in these patterns and it's always worth revisiting. Um,
Well, on that note,
you
we're
have,
off. We're running. We have our last meeting with our Prepare for Pregnancy group, so coming up. So it was great to be with you this Wednesday night. And everybody out there, if you're seeing this before the holiday, we won't be around next week on our Wednesdays because I'll be making
be
pies.
cooking.
And just wishing you such a grounded, beautiful, lovely holiday that's like grounded in gratitude this Thanksgiving, and try to roll with the punches that we're all kind of facing, and remember that if we focus on what's good and what's right in front of us, life gets a lot easier.
It's a good message. I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Bye. Signing off now. See you soon.